All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'll be your yoga instructor here today. So, this is one of the first classes in the Full Body Awakening series, and today we're focusing on the root chakra. So, as we get into practice today, just know that if you're ready to extend into postures, you're welcome to. If you need to modify and come down to the mat, that's okay too, or perhaps just find that center posture. Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and then join us whenever you feel ready. Also, keep in mind, there's always some inherent risk with anything we do to include yoga. So, make sure that you're taking steps to be safe wherever you're practicing today. And make sure that you've consulted your healthcare practitioner about doing yoga to make sure that it's part of your care plan. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. Your legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. We're going to wiggle back and forth, rooting into the sits bones. And then we'll sit up nice and tall. We're going to inhale as we draw the shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. One more time. Inhale as they come forward and up, and then exhale as they come back and down. Find a comfortable spot for your hands, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or perhaps in your lap. Maybe closing the eyes if that feels comfortable for you, or simply find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here today. In the yogic tradition, there are 7 chakras known as the organizing centers for reception, assimilation, and transmission of life energies. The first in this system is the root chakra, in Sanskrit known as the Muladhara. This is the root support in the body and is located in the perineum. It's associated with survival, as well as the earth and grounding. It's also associated with the color red. As we move through practice today, I invite you to bring your awareness into the root chakra area of your body, the pelvis down. Notice sensations in the lower parts of your body. Notice too if you can feel yourself rooting down into postures today. So settling in, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhaling that breath back out. Taking a deep inhale, fill the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you feel your belly expanding outward like a big balloon. And then exhale as you draw that belly button in toward your spine. Inhale as you feel your torso expand, your collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhaling nice and full here. And as you exhale, feeling yourself root down into your seat, into this moment, and into your body. Continue to breathe slowly and intentionally here. And if you find that the mind wanders off, gets bored with the breath, or goes on a thinking adventure, the moment that you've noticed you've gone away, see if you can return to the breath. That's mindfulness, and you're doing it. Return as many times as you need, celebrating that you've noticed. Now, if it feels right for you or perhaps helpful, you can, of course, incorporate a mantra to help you stay grounded and focused with your breath. Inhale, I am. Exhale, rooted. Inhale, I am. Exhale, rooted. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments here today. Let's take another deep inhale here, setting an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale as you feel the intention with your heart and mind. And then exhale the breath out, set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it at the end of our practice. Lovely. If you're on a prop like a block, we're going to go ahead and move that off to the side and out of the way, coming into your comfortable seat on the mat. Again, legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. We'll inhale, sweep our arms up overhead, cast our gaze skyward, and then exhale, twist over to the left, right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the body. Curve your head around into a seated twist. Inhale, let's come back into center, arms go tall. Exhale, twist over to the right, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the body. Curve your head around into a seated twist. Inhale, come back into center, arms go tall. Exhale, twist over to the left, curving your nose around. Inhale, come back into center, arms go tall. Exhale, over to the right. Lovely. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, drop that left hand down to the mat. Step your hand about a foot away from your hip, and then lean over to your left as you reach through your right fingers for a seated side bend. So reach through those fingertips, feel the pull through the right side body, stay rooted in the right hip. Shoulders are shrugged down. Lovely. Feel yourself rooting down here, starting to get into that pelvic region. And then inhale back into center, both arms tall. Exhale, right hand drops down. Step it about a foot to the right, and then lean over to the right here, reaching through those fingertips. Again, feel that pull through the left side body, rooting down through that left hip here. Good. Shoulders are shrugged down. We're breathing. And then we inhale back into center, both arms tall, reach toward the sky, look up. And then exhale, hands come down onto your knees. Great. You can also be in the lap as well. Coming into seated cat-cows here, I'm going to turn at a bit of an angle here. So inhale, pressing the chest forward, lifting the gaze toward the sky, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Coming into that seated cow, I'm sorry. And then exhale, pressing the knees away with the palms of the hands, hollowing out the back and the belly, looking down toward the feet for the seated cat. Inhale into your seated cow. Look up toward the sky, being gentle with the neck, shoulders shrugged down, shoulder blades squeezing together. Exhale into cat, hollowing out the back and the belly, moving the pelvis and the chest toward one another. Inhale into that last seated cow, feeling that nice arch through the spine. Exhale into your seated cat, feeling those shoulder blades separate here. Lovely. And then inhale, coming back into neutral. Nice work. Coming onto the hands and knees here. We're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back heels, and lift the heels and the hips, coming into a down dog. So hands are engaged with the mat, heels are reaching toward the floor. Let's take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale that breath out. And then inhale, look up between the hands. Let's baby step those feet to the top of the mat. Come right into a halfway lift. So knees are slightly bent, torso is parallel with the floor, back is nice and flat, shoulders are shrugged down, hands are on the thighs or the shins, gaze is toward the floor. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, sink into your forward fold, tuck the chin, look between the legs. The arms can hang limp. You can palm the mat. You can bring pinkies to opposite crooks of the elbows if you'd like. Leaning forward to the front 2/3 of your feet so you're light in your heels, feeling that lengthening through the spine. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, release the arms, bend the knees, flatten the back, reverse swan dive, sweep those arms wide and up. And then exhale, let's come into our heart center here. Lovely. So coming into our mountain pose, this is an excellent position for rooting us into our bodies, into our root chakra space, and really just grounding down. So we're going to bring our feet about hip width distance apart. We're going to stand up nice and tall and start by taking a moment rolling back and forth on your feet from heel to toe, toe to heel. We don't often spend time actively doing this, especially if you're barefoot. This is such a great way to really root down into the feet and notice all of the sensations that come up through our feet as we move about our day. Great. And then coming into stillness here, again, feet are hip width distance apart. Knees are slightly bent here. Our tailbone is not arched and our back's not arched, but we're tucking the tailbone here and engaging the core. We're standing up nice and tall through the spine, reaching the crown of the head toward the sky here. And then shoulders are shrugged down, palms are facing forward here. Hands are very gently engaged. Yeah. So you notice you're not just standing here. We're really doing a lot of work. Now, if you'd like, you're welcome to close the eyes or simply find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here today. And let's take a couple deep breaths. So inhale, feel as if that air is coming in through the feet, moving all the way up the body, through the torso, through the face, and out the crown of the head. And then on the exhale, feel that air moving in through the crown of the head, down through the face, through the neck, the torso, pelvis, all the way down through the legs, and out the feet into the surface beneath you. Inhale, just like that again, drawing that breath in through the soles of the feet. Feel it moving all the way up through the body and out the crown of the head. And then exhale, feel that air move in through the crown of the head, all the way down through the body and out the soles of the feet. A couple more deeply cleansing breaths, just like this. Last full breath, inhaling through the feet. Exhaling through the crown of the head. Allow the breath to return to normal. Take a moment and notice how it feels to be in your body today. Notice that sense of rootedness that is here. As if someone were to come and press you on your shoulder or back, you wouldn't move, for you are so rooted to this spot. When you feel ready, gently opening the eyes here. We're going to step to the top of our mat here and start by stepping our left foot back, starting in that high lunge, but turning that back heel down so it's at a bit of an angle. We'll then inhale as we sweep our arms tall, coming into our warrior one. So front knee is bent in line with the foot, in line with the ankle, back leg is long, heel is down. But we're not opening up the hips to the side. Instead, we're squaring the hips with the top of the mat. We're tucking that tailbone slightly, so we're pressing that left hip flexor forward, feeling that pull here. We're reaching up toward the sky, shoulders are shrugged down. Your hands can also be out heart center if that's better for the shoulders here. And then feel yourself rooting down through the base of your spine here, as if that is the center of this entire posture, and it's keeping you strong and sturdy. Let's take a couple breaths together. Gorgeous work. We're going to inhale now, bring our arms out to a T. Exhale, turn open to the left. Adjust your back foot so now it's almost parallel with the back of your mat. Turn your palms toward the floor. Welcome into warrior two. Now you can sink a little bit deeper into that front leg. That's going to really engage those legs, get a little bit of a sweat going. Make sure that the knee is in line with the ankle. Back leg is long and straight. Tailbone is gently tucked. Arms are out. Again, hands can be on the hips or at heart center if that's better for the shoulder joints. Gaze can be looking over those front fingers or off to the side, whatever's better for your neck. And again, rooting into that root chakra, the base of the spine here, feeling yourself being grounded down and strong in this position. Breathing. Excellent. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Surf forward through the fingers, hinge at your hips. Right hand comes down to your shin, ankle, a block, or the mat. And then back arm reaches up toward the sky, coming into triangle. So top shoulder and hip are rotating backward. We're pressing the inside of that bottom hip forwards. So it's like we're nice and flat against a wall or a pane of glass here. Front knee is very slightly bent. We're not locking out that joint here. Bottom elbow is slightly bent. We're working that bicep, tricep. We're getting a gorgeous stretch through our left hip here and then through the inside of that right leg. Couple breaths here together. Good. Inhale, bend that front knee, move the props out of the way, and then bring your back foot onto the ball. Step yourself up to the top of your mat and come into a standing position. Great work here. I'm going to rotate to the opposite side of my mat as we move on to the opposite side here. So let's go ahead and start by stepping that right foot back, coming into that high lunge, and then turn your back heel down so it's at about a 45-degree angle. Front knee's bent in line with the foot, in line with the ankle. Back leg is long. Hips are squared with the top of the mat. We're tucking the tailbone slightly so we feel that nice deep pull to the inside of that right hip this time. Inhale, the arms are tall, shoulders shrug down, but hands can also be at heart center if that is better for your shoulders. Wherever you are, let's take a couple deep breaths here together in Warrior One. Good. Inhale, bring those arms out to a T. Exhale, twist open to the right. Adjust that back foot. So now it's almost parallel at the back of the mat. Arms are out, palms are down. Front knees bent in line with the foot, in line with the ankle. The deeper you sink, the more challenging it's going to be through the legs here. Shoulders shrug down. Again, hands can be on the hips or at heart center. And again, rooting into your root chakra, that base of the spine here, even though we're lifted and off the ground. Really feel it as the center of the entire posture. Gaze can be over those front fingers or off to the side, whatever's better for the neck. Let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Great work. Inhale, we straighten that front leg, surf forward through the fingers, hinge at the hips. Right hand comes down to the shin, ankle, a block, or the mat. Back arm reaches up tall. Welcome into triangle on the opposite side. So again, top shoulder, hip rotating backward, bottom hip pressing forward as if we're trying to flatten ourselves against a wall here. Bottom elbow is slightly bent. We're working the bicep and tricep. Front knee is slightly bent as we feel that gorgeous stretch to the inside of the leg. We're getting a nice pull in the right hip this time. Wherever you are, taking a few deep breaths here. And then inhale, top hand comes down to the mat, bend both knees, go ahead and lower down, move your props out of the way if you're using them. And then let's go ahead and sink back into a child's pose. So come onto the hands and knees and then sink the hips back to the heels, elongate the arm, forehead comes down to the floor. If your forehead does not reach the floor, you can always stack the arms or stack the fists, or you can use a prop like a block, to rest your forehead down onto. Notice what feels right for you. And then let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Take a moment and check in with your body, really noticing what's present. Noticing how it feels to be in your body here today, especially after all those stretching and challenges that we just did. Really noticing sensations that are calling your attention. Excellent work. On the next inhale, let's go ahead and come up onto the hands and knees. And then we're going to transition into a seated position here today. All right, so one of the last positions before we come down onto our back is lotus, which is one of the kind of foundational postures for yoga, but it's also a great root chakra pose. Now, we're going to step our way into it because this can be a very, very challenging position, and not everyone can make it into it, which is totally okay. Some bodies just never will, and that does not mean you're any less of a yogi. All right, so let's go ahead and start by finding a crisscross applesauce. Now, notice maybe this is where you are at today. Now, if it feels right for you, go ahead and uncross one of your legs. For me, that's going to be my right leg, and I will cue that, but feel free to rotate it around if left feels better, okay? I'm going to take my right foot, and I'm going to bring it up into the hip crease on my left leg here, okay? And then I'm going to, for now, lower that knee down on top of that left foot. So this is called half lotus. Half of our leg is in, or half of our legs are in lotus here. Now already I'm starting to feel stretch in the body. I'm noticing, ooh, it's a little tight, it's a little challenging to be here. So take a moment in half lotus and check in, notice how it feels to be right here. Now, you are welcome to stay here, and I will rotate us to the other side. So feel free to stay here for now. If you'd like to go for full lotus, being really mindful of your knees and your hips and not pushing yourself further than you're ready today. It may be helpful to move your left leg out and to put a block underneath to start to help your hips lower down. Eventually, we want to get that right knee so it's closer to the ground here, okay? Now, the next movement would be to take that left foot and to start to move it up on top of the right leg, moving it toward the hip crease of the other leg. So coming into full lotus here. Now, maybe you can be here for a moment and then release, not a problem. If you are here, take a moment, check in with the body, noticing how you're feeling. This can be a lot of tension on the ankles, especially if you haven't done it before. Again, release whenever you feel ready. If you're still in full lotus, we'll take one more nice deep breath here, feeling ourselves root down through the spine into our sits bones. And then when you're ready, releasing, gently taking that left foot off and then releasing that right leg, lowering that down to the floor. Now, if you've been hanging out in one side of the lotus, now we're going to uncross the legs and move on to the opposite side. So we're making sure to get those stretches on both sides. So taking your opposite leg, for me, that's left, and we're going to go ahead and bring that foot right up into that hip crease on the right leg. And again, you notice how I'm placing my foot down onto the mat here, or onto my knee. Good. And then sitting up nice and tall, breathing deeply, feeling that stretch now through that opposite hip. One more deep breath here. And then exhale, let's go ahead and release. Go ahead and bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. Knees are up in little mountains. Lean back onto the hands and then windshield wipe the knees back and forth, releasing the glutes, hips, and low back here. All right. And then when you feel ready, we're going to go ahead and make our way down onto our back. So grabbing a drink of water, toweling off if you need to, and then making your way on down. We will not sit up for the rest of our practice today. So coming on down onto your back, tucking your knees into your chest, giving yourself a little squeeze, maybe rocking from side to side to get a little roly-poly action here today. And then coming into stillness, go ahead and drop the soles of the feet down to the floor here. And we're going to get ready for final relaxation. So if you'd like, you can stay right here. This is a great position, especially if you have any low back pain or tightness in the hips. Knees can stay lifted. You can always extend your legs straight out with a block underneath the thighs here to, again, help alleviate some of that tension in the back. If you'd like, soles of the feet can come together and knees can fall out wide for reclined down angle. You can extend one leg or the other for fallen tree. You can extend both legs for traditional final relaxation. Finding a spot that feels good for your arms, there's no limit. It's really whatever feels nourishing for you. Or perhaps laying on your side or your belly if you prefer. Or if you'd like, you can even just return to a seated position and treat this final part of final relaxation as a seated meditation. It's up to you, whatever feels good. So I invite you to make your way into that position here. And then as you do, rooting down into the sits bones or rooting down into the surface beneath you. Maybe that's the sits bones. Maybe it's the back side of the body. Releasing control of the breath and simply tuning in to the movements of the breath. Begin to notice how fast or slow they are, how deep or shallow. Notice the quality of each breath on your inhales, the quality of each breath on your exhales. Feel yourself really settling into this position, rooting down into the surface that you're in, feeling safe, feeling calm, feeling at ease. Allowing the attention to rest lightly on the breath. But if you notice that the mind wanders off, it's okay. Simply notice that it's gone away and then come back to the breath, back to focusing on your inhales and your exhales. Now, if it's right for you, perhaps coming back to that mantra we used at the beginning of our practice. Inhale, I am. Exhale, rooted. Inhale, I am. Exhale, rooted. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments here today. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know that I'm watching the time. I respect yours, and I will be sure to let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go, and feel yourself root down into this moment, into this safety, stillness, and ease. There are many ways to bring happiness to others right in this moment. We can start with speaking kindly. The way we speak to others can offer them self-confidence, hope, and trust. Mindful speaking is a deep practice. When we choose our words carefully, we can make people happy. Bringing your attention back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. Then slowly exhale the breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Move arms and legs, gently waking the body back up. When it feels right for you, roll onto one side, pause there with an arm or a hand beneath your head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice. That answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take another deep inhale as you come on up into a seated position and we close out our practice together. So finding your comfortable seat, rooting into your sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale as we draw the shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on the knees, in the lap, or at heart center, closing the eyes if you'd like. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you all so much for joining me for this practice. It was a joy and an honor to lead you through it, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me for this practice. I hope that you are feeling a little bit more rooted and grounded. Again, my name is Alexis Miller. I am here in my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you like this practice and feel like someone could benefit from it, make sure to share it with them. That's how other people discover me. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.